Yo, what up, players and playettes? This is Maddie here on Just for Fun. Sorry I haven't been posting as many videos lately, and certainly haven't posted any brews in a while. Just been real busy. Switched jobs, IRL, switched companies, with which to further improve my career. And that worked out really well for me so far. So, I'm getting paid a lot more, so that's always good. Hopefully, I'll be able to afford to brew more exciting decks here for you on Just for Fun. Now, what I've got here for you today is Black Green Elves for Standard. A lot of the new elf cards that came out in Magic Origins are just sick, and I've been drafting the set a lot, as you know. I've done a total of 11 drafts so far, and my record is somewhere around 22 and 11 or 23 and 10, 23 and 10 in matches, which I feel is pretty strong. I definitely have a good handle on the format, and I think it's a fun format. One that rewards synergy over power, which is interesting for a core set. That's not typical. So anyway, I really liked a lot of the elf cards, and so I wanted to build a deck around those. I'm sure this is not the most novel idea. I'm sure others have built an elf deck, but I like the way I have mine set up in particular. I don't have any Nisses in here, so it's a little more budget friendly, and I do play Collected Company. I'm only playing 3 main deck, and I gotta tell you, it's not as impressive in this deck because we only have 15, 21 creatures that cost 3 or less, which isn't really, like for a real good Collected Company deck, you want a little more than that, because we have a bunch of misses with the card, right? So, I mean, I could lower the curve, add a few more low-cost guys in, but then I'm missing the top end. I feel like it's a good balance. Now, this deck to me is more of a Court of Calling deck than a Collected Company deck, but it's fun, and it's got like an aggro combo vibe, which I like, and it can also play a mid-range game too. So it's got so much play to it. For lands, pretty simple. 8 black-green duels, some swamps and forests, couple herb orcs. In the 1-drop slot, we got Elvish Mystic doing what it does, ramping us into 3 drops. And really, though, this is more for turn 3 playing Dwynen, right? That's going to be more of a winning, or Collected Company. That's going to help you more than powering out Shaman of the Pack. You don't really want to power out. You want to play this last if possible. This is like the best card in the deck, and you almost never want to draw it. Although it's good when you draw it and play it. You can just play it as a 3-drop, ping you for 1 or 2, whatever. And you have a 3/2, it's not bad, but you really want to save these, and I'll explain in a minute, and you'll be able to see from the matches. Gnarlroot Trapper, also kind of like Elvish Mystic, but a little bit different utility. Sort of fixes your mana in a sense, and ramps at the same time. Plus, the second ability is really powerful when playing against a fatties kind of deck. Thornbow Archer is like an aggro creature, and which you wouldn't think for a 1-mana 1/2, but it attacks for 2 most of the time, and one of which is unblockable. The only thing that sucks about it is it can't attack into like 2-power dudes and trade most of the time. So there's that. Dwynen's Elite, I'm more impressed with this card every time I play with it. I think it's great. Sometimes it's just a grizzly bear, but sometimes that's okay. And when it's stapled to an extra 1/1, it's really good. Now, you want to flood the board early with these guys, right? Your 1 and 2 drops, so that when you do cast Shaman of the Pack, it does more damage. Plus, every time you put one of these out, you're going wide for the point of Dwynen. So the more bodies you have in play, when you play this Anthem effect, you gain more life when you attack, and you do more damage. Plus, it ramps you for Card of Calling, so you can convoke out a Shaman for lethal damage, or a Dwynen out of nowhere to pump your team, or a Guilt Leaf Winnower to 187 another creature when it comes out. So, or Eyeblight Assassin to kill something small, or Reclamation Sage to blow up an artifact or enchantment. So this is really, you want to have like one of these every game, and it gives a nice toolbox effect to the deck. Sylvan Messenger lets you redraw your hand. Between the Elvish Visionaries, the Messengers, the Companies, and the Chords, you're always drawing into the card that you want at the time, which is most of the time is Shaman of the Pack to just end the game. But sometimes you want the other effecty dudes too, and it's pretty hard to explain all the great synergies in here in the deck tag. I'm trying, but you'll see when I play with the deck how it plays out. So my sideboard here, I have the 4th Collected Company in case I feel like that's something I want. Couple Murderous Cuts, and some ultimate prices for decks where they have a hard to deal with creature that I want to remove. Duress against control decks, basically decks that are playing route. You're pretty weak to sweepers, so I would bring in Duress against a deck with sweepers, with Anger or End Hostilities or Crux of Fate or whatever. Another Eyeblight Assassin comes in against mono red, and 4 Eyeblight Massacres, which come in against other dork decks, especially mono red. My mono red matchup, I have to say, is really good. Like, all your dudes match up well. You can just kind of like trade off early, and you don't mind losing these guys because eventually your powerful crap will take over. And then after sideboard, you have 4 sweepers, 4 mana Plague Winds basically. So yeah, so I'll play a couple matches and I'll show you. I've had a lot of success with the deck. I think it's a great deck. It's pretty budgety except for the Collected Companies, but again, they're not even that essential. They're not even that great in the deck. You could just fill it out with more dorks and it would probably be still a pretty good deck. So enjoy.